Hi people of the internet, Joel here. Have you heard Tom Bukovac saying this?
I've spent many nights sitting in bars, drinking beers, watching bands play. I know a lot about the subject, and I have noticed, just in general, if you're watching a band play in a bar, if a guy's playing a Gibson, you can always hear him, and when they're playing a Fender, you can never hear him. You guys ever notice that? I think it has something to do with the mid-range content. Like Fenders are amazing guitars, and I love them, for recording and all that. But unless you're Jimi Hendrix or David Gilmour or one of those guys, it's hard to get a Fender to really, or Stevie Ray or one of those guys. Like in a small club, a Fender can sort of disappear because there's not a lot of mid-range in those pickups. You know what I mean? This is just a general blanket statement. I'm not trying to get a bunch of hate mail here, but Gibsons have a way of cutting through, even at lower volumes. I don't know why, in a bar. Am I wrong? You guys tell me.
Well, how can you argue with the man? Tom these days makes probably the best, or at least the most interesting content on YouTube for his fellow guitar string pluckers. So respect for that. And I suppose he's kind of intentionally a bit drastic just to make a point, but I suppose everybody knows that you don't necessarily need to be Hendrix to make a Fender works. You have many guys out there playing those Strats, Tellys, sounding great. But yeah, those Strats in particular can be tricky sometimes, and that's true. And if you play already a Strat, you know that the most common issue you get with the Strat is that positions 2 and 4, those in between sounds can kind of vanish in a gig situation. It's like the sound just spreads out and loses its focus, the core tone, In that matter, a silly digression, I heard Jimi Hendrix saying once, and I think I'm quoting him right, single coils are pickups for the real man. That's why I'm playing humbuckers, and of course he laughs about it. And man, that's a great statement. And so, if my 2 cents worth anything to you, it's almost 2 decades that I have this idea that many of the Fender guys are trying to sound fatter, much more like an LP or a 335. And every guitar excels in something and have weak points in other. So whatever, this thought, it's something that stuck with me for a long time and is the seed that gave birth to this mod I will show you soon. Due to the issue Tom mentioned at the beginning, and of course the notorious hum of the single coils, you have the people like, Jimi Hendrix, Mike Landau, that uses Strats with humbuckers. And in both cases you can tell it's not quite a Strat sound, and it sounds great, nothing to argue about it. But you can tell there's some lack in the sparkle, in the chime, and even with the gurus like them playing it. So a Strat or even a Telly with 2 humbuckers can be a good alternative to a single coil guitar. And above all, I like the fact that in a 2 humbucker guitar you don't have a mishmash of different types of pickups. like in HSS or HSH combinations, and that's something I don't dig in particular, but of course it's purely true of taste and someone's necessity. I really don't judge anybody else's choices, and however, to my ears, that big change in character from singles to humbuckers, it sounds a bit unnatural. You have all that bells and whistles on the next single, let's say, and then when you switch to a bridge position, that humbucker is usually kind of darker, with less top end, and of course with that characteristic mid hump, that push in the mid. And it's like having a switch in reverse for me. And so if you use to classic Strat tones, that when you switch from neck to bridge, you're expecting that screaming treble, which is not happening with the humbucker. But in general, those two pickups are completely different. And you know, the attack, how the note blooms, the bass and the treble response and balance. And of course, there are other stuff like harmonic overtones and that content in general. So those are, to me, two different colors. And like blue and yellow, it can be much different from that. And I think it's something that's not arguable, and it is like it is, and that's why you have people that have different guitars for different sounds. So I like them both, don't get me wrong, and generally speaking, I don't like to match them on one guitar, as I said. That way it's kind of bipolar situation for me, and it's like having Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, deal with them both at the same time. And anyway, to avoid that drastic change in those, let's say, HSS combinations, you have people like Sean Tubbs, just to name one that came up first to my mind. So Sean uses I think a Gretsch style pickup with singles, but there are also people that like mini humbuckers or gold foils instead, and gold foils can be built as humbuckers also, and all those choices combined with the single coils are much more coherent because they are brighter and they are much more in tune with the single coil spectrum. And of course, as I said before, it's I respect all the choices, it's just perspective. Okay, they are crushing something in the kitchen. Mid boost now. First, it's just a working name that kind of depicts it the best way for now. And maybe you let me know if you have any suggestions. I'll be glad to hear from you. And in the past 6 months, I came up with something that is nothing like stuff I've seen out there, and I've seen and wired really a lot of different possible wirings on many guitars, and from very far it may resemble you like the in series wiring, also known as the pseudo humbucker. Have you heard that? Brian May used it on his guitar, and on a Strat that kind of wiring has a drawback because that particular mode has that prominent in-between sound, because in fact you're not playing a hotter neck or a hotter bridge. You're playing those positions 2 and 4 that are just wired in a manner that two bobbins of a humbucker are connected. You may probably notice that the character of my mod is still pretty single coilish, if not completely. Just it sounds fatter and louder, but the frequency range is much more similar to a humbucker. So that's exactly what the point Tom was talking about. So you have the impression, the feeling you're playing the same instrument, you know, with the same pickups, everything is the same, and that's kind of great in my humble opinion. And let me pick up the guitar, so I'll show you a few things first. Okay, here is the guitar. Oh. So it's a Squier Bullet. It's 2005, maybe 9, which is kind of vintage for a Chinese bullet. And I bought it just for testing because I was sick and tired to dismantle my playing guitar, and it was lying there with all the wires and stuff disconnected. And when I needed to play a guitar, and when I wanted to play, I couldn't, because this is the main guitar that I have. And okay, I have some customer's guitar in the shop, but you know, my guitar is my guitar. And so I bought this one, and by the way, my main guitar it's kind of nice. It's a 1983 Japanese JV Squier, a 50 CU issue, maple neck, sunburst, nitro finish. I did some stuff on it anyway, and I tweak it a bit to make it mine, and it's a great guitar, probably the closest you can get to vintage kind of guitar without busting your bank account. So this guitar I paid 50 euros, which is about, I think, $55, $55. And as you know, this line is the lowest of the Fender, the cheapest one. But to be fair, it's kind of well built. Okay, I don't know if this I don't care if this is rose, but it's pretty consistent, as you can see in color. The neck doesn't have any discolorations, any knots. The body, I think, is basswood, which is a bit lighter, I suppose, and of course, because I think it's half a centimeter, 5 millimeters thinner, and it's pretty nice sounding. It's not great, of course, but okay, the tuners are crap, but who cares? The action is reasonable. It has some buzzing and the 15 fret. I really don't care for the stuff I have to do it with it. And at the moment the strings are 12 to 52, and it's tuned to C sharp standard. And one thing I did the other day is to upgrade the tremolo. Okay, the tremolo now is made out completely from steel with full size block, which is pretty important for if you're looking to upgrade a cheap Strat. Other than that, it's all stock. The pickups are stock, and there are some stuff here, of course. that I modded, and I had to use a super switch. If you know what it is, it's just like a normal 5-way switch, but internally you have more options for wiring. A classic master volume, and it has a treble bleed mode in it. A master tone control, which is modded to my taste. It behaves much more like a Q filter, so it gives you sounds similar to a cocked Bach, you know. And this is a push-push pot, and it activates the boost, and this regulates the let's say the quantity of the boost. Well, of course there are some secret ingredients. Let's go. And when the mod is not active, with this pot down, press it down, and everything works as factory. Standard switching, master volume, master tone, okay. And hopefully you'll hear that, you'll hear how much improvement can be done on a cheap instrument. So it's up to your imagination what this mod can do to an already good guitar. As I mentioned before, okay, this activates the boost. While with the knob, you when it's activated, you can reduce the bass frequency build up. So when it's down, it's do nothing, and when it's up, you have maximum boost, and then you can kind of reduce it. It has kind of double effect. It reduces bass, it cut bass, and also it's kind of, by tuning everything down, it's kind of blend much more with the standard tone of the pickup, and so you can really tweak it to taste. When the boost is active, it works only, and this is important, only positions 1 and 5, so neck and bridge only, and the other positions are not affected unless you use this guy. So when you start reducing the bass, you will also reduce the bass in these other 3 positions, the inner positions, so positions 2, 3 and 4, and then you can achieve some very nice plunky percussive sounds, kind of funk sounds. It gives you such a wider, such broader palette of colors that you can use in particular in studio, but it's also very simple to use it in a live situation, because you can set the boost and forget it, so you just have to click once to boost your signal. The boost amount intended as gain in volume level, I guess it's about 15-20%, and as a plus, due to some filtering inside of the circuit, the hum is also reduced, so you get a much better signal to noise ratio. And of course I should mention there's no need for additional routing of the body, and you don't need any battery because it's completely passive. So I hope you will enjoy this preview, and please feel free to let me know your thoughts. And if you don't like it, let me know also. Let me know why you don't like it. So let me set the stage for to hear some sounds, and finger crossed to get approval from the Bach himself. Here we are. We're set to make some samples, to make some noise. Okay, Koch Studio Tone combo 20 watts, EQ flat. I'm on the dirt channel, just a bit of gain to kind of mimic the breakup zone, you know. So, as I mentioned earlier, with the boost deactivated, it's a pretty normal Strat. Okay, I have a little bit of slapback and some reverb, but that's it. Okay, so let's stay on the neck first. Okay, now with the boost. Okay, boost is on. Boost is off. On, off. Off. You get it? Okay, same thing for the bridge. Boost is on. Off. On. Off. And by the way, if you see some hum, it's coming from the air ventilation of the kitchen. We're about lunchtime. Okay, so let's back to the neck. So, as I told you, when the boost is on, off, on, you can thin it down a bit. You can cut those bass out. So let's say this is full, this is completely cut. And this is off. So as you can tell, it's pretty damn close to the stock default wiring. And let's say halfway. Okay. Off, on. So you're already starting hearing more bass, more mids, and the top end is kinda rounder, thicker. Off. Full on. Okay, to the bridge. Off, on. Okay, halfway. idea. And what's happening with the other positions? So positions 2, if it's off and it's close, normal. If it's on, it's also normal. But when you start cutting bass, you cut also bass to these positions, to these other positions when the switch is active, the mode is active. So I go full cut. Okay, so you get the point. This is normal. And this is with the cut. And of course, positions 1 and 5 are boosted. So you get a big difference in tone between those positions. So it can be used as a rhythm for those 3, and then for a solo. It can be used in many ways, all the ways you can imagine and you came up with, and of course I think it could be a great tool in studio. Middle position, bass full cut, normal, cut. Fourth position, normal. So if you play rhythm parts, single line, I think it's also great for those sounds too. Let's hear some dirt sounds. So I have the Nobels audio one here for the dirt. Let's say it with full boost, same thing. Let's hear it with the boost halfway down. Okay, let's go to the bridge. Now with the boost. Okay, boost halfway down, bass cut halfway down. Off. I don't know how it translates via the mic on the camera, but of course it's a preview, so it's not a definitive demonstration. Okay, let's see some single lines. Okay. the boost. So it's pretty. It's very thick. Okay, there is my little one that is trying to break it in the room. So the neck. The neck with the boost. Without boost. With the boost. Boost halfway down. No boost at all. Boost again. Okay, so let me digress for a moment, because I show you pretty much how it works, and let me show you, so the tone, which is have this, it rolls off the highs, of course, but it also shifts the resonance peak of your. So in the mid is completely different. Halfway. Let's say, just close a bit. Full open. 7. And it's kind of nice on the bridge. You get this strange kind of vintagey sound. Halfway. And you get this cocked Bach. So it's cool with some drive. Being a master tone, it works in all 5 positions. So here I suppose you can hear it really nicely. You can mix it just a little bit. And I suppose that in a gig, shifting your mid can help you maybe in some situations to get out with much more ease, as well as with the boost. So please let me know. Hi.